We've seen the impact the government shutdown has already had on airports, but the longer this drags, the wider the effects could spread. Let's connect the dots. Sunday, 10% of TSA screeners across the country called in sick, compared to 3% on a normal day. But they aren't the only ones calling in. Air traffic controllers are also short-staffed, and if enough of them start calling in sick, the government could restrict the number of flights. Experts also warn that if this stretches into February, Americans could cut back on travel, scared off by the uncertainty. That would impact hotels, restaurants, and stores. In fact, travel and tourism generate about $1.6 trillion for the U.S. economy. So it's not just government workers who want this thing over.